Well, it's time to get your plant and garden questions answered live.
Lisa Briggs is standing by at her home. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi there.
Thanks for joining us. The number to call is 270-9933. Let's get right to the phones.
We'll go to Richard in Sun Prairie. Hi, Richard. What's your question?
Hello. Thanks for taking my call. Whenever I put potted plants into the ground, I feather out the roots on the bottom first.
Okay.
And when I watch these home decorating shows, they just pull the plant out of the pot and stick it in a hole. Is the way I'm doing it more advantageous than what they do?
I think for me, when I'm planting trees and shrubs or perennials, long-lasting stuff, I'm much more careful about what the roots are doing when I take it out of the pot than I am if I'm planting an annual that's going to last for the summer. So usually when I do annuals, I squeeze the pot so I can lift it out, and then I really rough up the bottom so that it fits in the pot.
All right.
So I guess for annuals, it's not as important, but for trees and shrubs, definitely, especially if you see roots sort of circulating around the pot, you want to pull those away, kind of tease them apart with a garden fork or your fingers before you plant. That'll help the new roots develop a little easier.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Let's go to Jane in Madison. Hi, Jane. What's your question?
Hi, thank you. Last summer I have a flower bed that I planted mostly zinnias in. And before the summer was out, they seemed to have mold, and the plants died before the end of the season. Did I just have a bad bunch of plants, or is there something with the soil I should do differently?
What you probably had was powdery mildew. So it looks sort of silvery on the leaves. And
Right.
zinnias are really prone to it if the season is damp and they're not in full sun. And last year the summer was super wet, so it's probably really difficult to get away with it. So for this year, there are a couple of products on the market one's called Serenade. I think one is called Revitalize. And these are biologic fungicides that have some preventative. So you can spray those on your plants, on anything that gets powdery mildew, like lilacs or ninebark, serviceberry, and of course zinnias. Phlox is another one. And that will help be a preventative so that the mildew problem won't be as bad. Otherwise, just make sure they have good air circulation and full sun. That will help as well.
Okay. All right, let's go to Diane in Verona. Hi, Diane.
Hi, thank you very much. I have some 4x8 raised bed gardens, vegetable gardens, and I'm interested. I've been researching grow covers. I've heard some good things about them. I was wondering what you could recommend for materials involved to try to do it myself. Not only what I'm thinking PVC pipe for the arches, and then what for the fabric, and how tall. Thank you.
So the height is going to depend on the plants that you have under there. So if you have low things like spinach, lettuces, that kind of thing, it may be, 15 inches high. If you're putting heavier things or bigger things under there, it has to be taller. You can use wire. You could use PVC arches. For the row cover itself, nothing beats just floating row cover. You can get them at the garden center. They're in a number of different sizes. They're not very expensive. It's a spun poly fabric. I'm not sure where you'd get it other than at the garden center. The one thing you want to be careful, though, with floating row covers, if you're planting some things that need to be pollinated, like squash, for instance, not only does it protect the plants from insects that are problems, it also protects the plants under there from insects that you really need sort of to pollinate your squash. So sometimes you will have to pull it back at certain times, and then when plants are flowering, and then when they're fruiting and you're trying to protect the fruit itself, then you want to put it back.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Kay in Madison. Hi, Kay. What's your question?
Hi, thanks. Daylilies. I have a couple clumps that came up this spring with yellow and, real light green leaves. The rest of them are fine, and I never had any problem with them before, so this is unusual. I just wondered what might be going on with these, 3 clumps.
There are some newer daylily diseases, but they don't generally cause yellowing leaves. I would first try to use like a fertilizer, sort of a 10-10-10. The little bit of nitrogen in there will sort of brighten the green, and maybe they just need to be fed. Daylilies also can take some shade, so as long as they're getting 5 or 6 hours of sun, they should flower without any problem. They also might need to be divided, which is something that you could do later in the summer after the flowering is done. You could dig the clumps out and split them and then divide them up.
All right, we're out of
I
time.
tried fertilizer first, though.
Okay, we're out of time. Lisa, thank you. Thank you all for calling in. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Have a great day.
You too.